Early morning, Sunday, November 18th. How y'all doing? I am taking a pause for my morning bike ride to walk in the park. Depression, anxiety, panic. You are not alone. Let me say that again. You are not alone. This is something that I found is very, not uncommon with people. I've talked to some friends who suffer from it and deal with it in their own ways. And I have myself, and I do. Yeah, it's not something that somebody's proud to really say, because a lot of people see it as a weakness, as a mental weakness, as an emotional, psychological weakness, and which it can be debilitating. It can cripple your head. It can put your brain in a fetal position, in a corner of its own dark world, and just it'll put you down, man. But the thing is, I'll say it again, you are as a shooting star. You are not alone. Thing I've realized that one must do to deal with this is first to go back to the roots. Search back to the roots of when this all began for you. We could add post-traumatic stress disorder in there too, in the mix of those three, and make it 4. It could have been anything. It could have been abuse as a child in any way, shape, or form. Won't even go into it because there's too many. It could be a loss of somebody very dear to you, a mentor, a parent, a guardian. In my case, I'm going to get a little personal here. In my case, I lost my father when I was about 10 and a half. You got to add that half in there when you're 10, right? When I was 10 and a half years old, I lost him. And it was unexpected. He was in and out of the hospital a lot when I was a kid. I remember doing my homework up there and having the nurses help me with it. They became teachers and friends, tutors, so to speak. And one night it just happened. It was just a normal night. And he was gone. And that started me on a downward spiral very, very early. Very early. First of all, with some background to that, I'm a PK. I was a preacher's kid. Dad was a deacon of the church, and he stood in for the pastor when the pastor was gone, and he did his thing. Now, this was in the Pentecostal religion, in the Assembly of God church. Raising your hands to the rafters, speaking in tongues, and being slain in the Holy Spirit, and anointing and oil on the forehead, and faith healing. That. Okay, just to get a picture of that. So there were some rather high expectations for a few of us kids. Dad wasn't always like that. Kind of happened when I came along in 1970-ish. So I'm the youngest, so my older siblings kind of knew Dad in a different light than I never knew him with a drink in his hand, to smoke, or to cuss or swear. I only knew him as preacher dad. So when he was gone, I had a couple emotional issues, and I broke in a big way. And within a few years, started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Started hanging out with family. With friends who had broken families, who had divorce in their family and alcoholism in their families. And I had hung out with the friends who didn't have any friends, and we created our own little clique, pretty much. And it was a tight group, but we did our own thing. And we didn't always do it right. We got in some trouble along the way. But that's in the ways that, little greaseball teenagers will do. Little partying here and there, and various forms. And that's how we dealt with, we did escapism. And that wasn't good. That wasn't good. So the depression was never really dealt with. Now fast forward a couple years to about 1989, June 15th of 1989, I was riding a bicycle, friend, out in the country, outside of the little town of 1,500 people where we grew up, and I was mowed down by a van that was coming over a hill going 65 miles an hour. And that was the loudest noise I ever heard in my life. It didn't hurt till later. And it caused some hip problems and this and that. I'm surprised I even got up. But I soon after that started suffering from anxiety and panic attacks. I didn't know where they came from. And it took me a little while to figure out when did this start? Hyperventilating and the bear in the woods syndrome. You got to get away, but you don't know what to get away from, and you just got to run. Whether you're in a car, pull over, I just got to run. That kind of thing. Full-blown panic, where every second is a minute and every minute is an hour. And you who are watching this who have had that know what I'm talking about, and it's pure hell. It's hell. And took a little while before I saw a doctor about that, and got me on some things for a while to control that. And I realized that wasn't going to work. That's a temporary solution. I've got to face some things. So I put myself in places where these panic attacks would trigger. And I confronted them, and for the most part, I got over them. Took a while, but I got over them. Still now to this day, I'll have them in my sleep. I'll wake up from sleep terrors and get up occasionally, and with that sleep panic kind of thing, run out of the room and wake up in a different room or something. And what else? My whole point to this is I did trace it back to a couple events. Those events. Lost my mother when I was 22 in 1992, and that didn't help things, because my head was already full of shit. So with that, I learned to pick up a guitar and learn a few chords and put my poetry to music and train my head out of it like that. And that took a while as well. Now, can we fully escape this? Depression and anxiety and panic and post-traumatic stress disorder. Can we fully get rid of it? That's a good question. I don't know. I think there are things in life that can come along that will trigger that stuff again. And it'll set you into that dark space in your head where you don't want to be. For me, what I do is I ride my bike and I get under the stars, and I do this all the time. I don't do it just to get out of something like that. I do it all the time because that's peace. You know, that's pure bliss, is to get out even at night when nothing is going on. It's like almost 5 o'clock in the morning here, and I'm near a highway. That's the cars you hear over there. But you've got to do something you enjoy. You've got to escape, whether it's hunting or skateboarding or going out dancing, you know. And I don't mean going to the bar and getting an ass full. I mean socializing and being with people. And or just, if you're going to isolate, don't do it in a room. Don't do it behind closed locked doors, man. Get out on the street and walk around or ride your bike. Riding a bike is completely just therapeutical for me. It is just freedom. That's all there is to it. I really, really enjoy it, especially when nobody else is around, because it's all my time. You know, I plug in my earbuds and I put on some Pandora radio or iHeart Radio, and I just go. Music is another good thing. And for me, I don't like listening to the same crap over and over. You know, turn on a radio station and hear the same thing that you're going to hear for the next 4 or 5 months until the cycle's complete, and then they give you another bunch of crap to listen to for the next 4 or 5 months. Listen to something eclectic. Listen to something new. Listen to something that doesn't remind you of anything, of nothing. Explore. Keep your head open. Keep your mind open to new sounds and new sights and new smells. Stop and smell those roses, man, every chance you get. And explore life. Stop down at the creek. Look at the crawdads. You know? Anything. These are just some things I do. I don't know what other people do, but you got to do something. You can't just sit and hope for the best, ignore it, it'll go away, because these issues are an emotional tumor. It will grow and it will manifest into something so cancerous in your freaking head that sooner or later, if it's not taken care of, it will never be. There's a chance that you won't come back. And that's not good, of course, right? So just keep happy. You are not alone. People like us are out here. We're out here. And if you have family, talk to them. You don't have to talk to them about your issues concerning this. Just talk to them about anything. About the news, about something you got in common, about your favorite football team. Sit down and watch some football, you know. But stay in touch with people. And, you know, if you're going to sit around on Facebook, just don't sit around on Facebook. Reach out to people. That has helped me greatly too. There are people that I haven't talked to, or seen, I should say, in 20 years that have, when they realized something was up with me, they just knew it. And they reached out to me, because in a position like when you're sitting in your own shit in your head, you don't feel like reaching out to people. Well, people will recognize, and the good ones will come forward and say, hey, what's up? You don't got to dump it all on them. Just talk. Just talk to them. So I know this has been a little rambling video. I came not prepared at all, no notes, just with some thoughts in my head to put forward and to let you know once more. I cannot stress this enough. You're not alone. So when you're sitting in your shit in your head and you can't go to sleep and your mind won't shut off, just know that there are people like you out here, and some of them are worse off, and it always could be worse. Okay, it could always be worse. Somebody's got it worse off than anybody else, and somebody's got it worse off than that person, and right down the line. So I don't know, this channel isn't real popular right now. My YouTube stuff ain't. But if you're watching this and you have any ideas, just leave a comment or a video response. What do you do? You know, what have you done? Or tell your story. I just gave a brief about mine, and or whatever. So I am going to put this camera away and put my gloves on because my fingers are really cold. This is Wisconsin. It is November, and I can see my breath and I can't feel my fingers anymore. So God bless y'all, and may you just keep on keeping on and find a happy place in your head, regardless of when it is, of when you're in a dark spot or when you're in a happy spot. May you be happier. Okay? God bless you. Signing off. Take care, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is you're watching this. Bye for now.